Carrie Knauer, and this is week 41 of my Home Life Remodel. Pretty sure that's the week. And just here to show you some of the updates. This weekend, Josh and I really buckled down and we spent most of the day here Saturday, a couple hours here on Sunday, just working on some of the little things that we need to get done before we get the plumbers in and the electricians and stuff like that. Saturday we were very fortunate to have the company of our friend Chet. He's made other appearances. He was here helping to do some of the washing down of the bathroom floors, and then he helped Josh to put down the sealer. And then my mom came and she helped to clean windows upstairs. And that might seem a little premature, but the upstairs really is almost done. There shouldn't be any more plaster dust or sawdust, which is the problem downstairs still going on. So it made a huge difference up there. So let's do a little walking tour and see how things went. We did a lot of cleaning this weekend, and one of the first things we did was pull up these tarps that were on the steps. There was kind of more dirt trapped under them than was being taken up. So really nice to be able to see that again. Really makes the place feel a lot better. Alright, took up all these cardboard boxes too. Alright, well, Josh was in here working on sealing the floor, and what you want to do is put a sealer down so that the grout doesn't get stained or dirty, and it also protects water from getting into the floor, which is kind of porous. Doesn't really affect the way that it looks though. Josh is also working on doing the sealing the grout that's in the shower stall, but that's really time consuming. So he's still working on that. Now we're in the master bath, and Josh has done one coat of sealer on these floors. We think we're going to go 3 just because something we might not get to again for a long time. Nate was here on Saturday or Sunday night as well, and he's put the sills in with these 3 windows. These used to have their own trim, but it didn't match the rest of the house, so we figured while we're doing the rest of it, let's finish that out. So he got those sills in. We're still waiting for the rest of the wood before he can finish off the rest of the windows and doorways. Now, look at the window there. It's as if it doesn't even have glass in it. It's amazing. If you go in here, we are in the bedroom, and same thing. So that was a huge case, and as my mom pointed out, these windows had never been cleaned. They're only 4 years old, and we never lived here since they were put in. So this is the first time they were cleaned, and it makes a huge difference. It's so much more light coming in, and it really just makes the place a lot more cheery. Now Josh and Chet went up in the attic and were fetching down more doors to put on. See, this room was used as a living room before, and it doesn't have a door, so we had to find one. There's another door that they found. So we have to put those 2 back on the bedrooms. Big thanks to people who owned this house before us, and that when they took things like doors down, that they just stored them somewhere, because don't really have any of those kind of salvage places around here that I know of, where you probably would have to look to find matching doors for the rest of them. There's an existing hanging door. Okay, we're back in the kitchen, and there is a window that Nate just framed out. We were having a lot of tough time, Josh and I, figuring out how we were going to do this one. Should we try to make it match the cabinets or match the rest of the windows? This room's going to just seem so different, and there's all the cabinets there. Then you get to this nook where you can see there's the old style windows with the reddish stain and everything. So Nate built it out. We're not going to put the header on top, kind of like is over there. There just isn't room for it, but it's not going to contrast that much. And we are going to stain it the reddish color like the other ones. So the second floor is really almost done. A couple of key pieces of trim need to go in, finish sealing the floors in the bathrooms, and I'm still working on getting the final coats of poly on those furniture pieces that we're going to be using as vanities. Then we're going to get the plumber in, and we can't wait to get that inspection finished with, so that is moving along. The first floor, however, is still kind of a mess, but we're working a lot on that. Nate is working on the trim. However, we still have not been able to retrieve the rest of our wood order from those specialized companies up in Pennsylvania. There was some miscommunication between our 2 parties, and looks like we won't be getting that till the end of next week. That was a real downer of a message today, but whatever, we're going to work around it as best as we can. I was working on a major task this weekend to stain the windows. And as you can see behind me, this window has been stained. It's almost the final color. It needs another coat of poly coat, but you have to sand it down before you do that. And then to the right, there is a doorway that hasn't been done yet. There's a lot more doorways. So I've now started the process of staining, I believe, 9 windows. There are 6 or 7 doorways on the first floor, and there's also a major set of windows in the dining room that we're going to have to stain, but they're not even finished being constructed out yet. So that's a lot. But I'll help describe what the process is. We wanted to use the same stain as was used on the floors because that's kind of what we're trying to match it to. However, every test piece that we did, it was just turning out way too dark, even though we were using the same product, mid-wax, oil-based, red chestnut. So Nate did some research for us and found that you can do something called a wash coat first. A wash coat is 2 parts mineral spirits, which is a thinner, a solvent for oil-based paints or stains, and then use 1 part of polyurethane. So what that does is it really dilutes the polyurethane. You paint it up on just like you would if it was a finished thing, and it has just a very thin layer of sealer that goes over the wood so that less will be absorbed. We tried it on the 3 windows that were in the living room and the front floor that we got cleaned up first. Looked good. Tried the stain coat. Liked it. And then I put the first coat of poly on Monday. We've repeated that process with the rest of the windows. I didn't shoot any footage of that because my hands are all messy and gross, and it's really hard to control because the mineral spirits are very liquidy. So it's like taking a paintbrush and water and just trying to get it up. Meanwhile, you're dealing with the fumes of those oil-based products. So just too hard to handle the camera at the same time. But I'll give a quick show now of how they turned out. These are the 3 finished ones, and sadly the floor isn't really exposed anywhere to show a comparison, but I don't think it would be a true comparison until it's done. There's one that I did the wash coat and the stain, and then there's the walls, or the windows in the kitchen nook that we've done as well. So all of these need their first coat of poly, then we sand them all down with a very fine grit so they have a better binding surface, and then we do a second coat of poly. You can do more, but usually 2 is all that is necessary. Alright, well I hope you can get a sense of what's going on. Thanks for watching, and tune back next week for more.